Hey guys, Jatt here with Doublelift after your victorious series over COG. I talked to you after you guys lost to COG in the spring split, and you actually said that player for player, team for team, they outplayed you in that series. You guys 3-0'd them today. How does it feel?
Wow, it feels really, really good, of course, because I think we just worked really hard and we were like very revenge-fueled this season. Like after that loss, we were like, dang, maybe we need roster change. And then we got Biofrost in, which I think was like our staple pickup. And then we have totally new coaching staff structure. And everyone on the team was like, okay, this is like a new turn of the page or whatever. Like we need a totally new identity and we need to work like way harder than every other team because it seemed like last split we were slacking off a little bit. So yeah, it just feels right, you know? It feels right that you just work really hard and then smash them for revenge.
You won the summer split with COG. You moved to TSM. Doesn't go so well. You finished 6th in the regular season. Then you go 17-1, beat COG in resounding fashion, and now you're kind of moving on to the finals. Like, what was that journey like? Because it's been really up and down.
Yeah, like when I first joined TSM, I was really hopeful because it was like the first Western super team. Like, oh my God, you know, Doublelift, All-Star, Bjergsen, all these big names. And I guess it was just like, man, like how disappointing. The whole time I was kind of like, ugh, I could have done so much more to make this work. And I guess like that was really motivating, especially for me and Bjergsen, to kind of like take more charge this split. Mm-hmm. And we were a lot more comfortable working with each other. We were like always bouncing ideas off each other this split. And I guess as soon as you start getting really, really ahead of everyone else, you just feel this extreme pressure to not get complacent. Like, don't get cocky, don't pull in Immortals, because, you know, Immortals went 17-1, and then they shit the bed in playoffs and got 3-0'd. So I feel like all of us were really afraid of that story, the same story happening to us. And so we were just like extra on fire.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting because you were 17-1. You had large advantages in a lot of these COG games. While it was a convincing victory, it seemed like it maybe took you a little long to finish some of these games against COG. How did you deal with the pressure of being 17-1 and knowing that, you know, success was expected rather than it be a surprise?
Yeah, I think early in the split, actually, Weldon said something to me that really helped, which was, you guys will never, ever again be able to pleasantly surprise your fans. You'll only ever be able to meet their expectations or disappoint them. So you guys should not worry too much about playing for the fans because there's no positive. There's only a negative or neutral. You should play for each other and just know that like on stage, you just consider all the hard work that you're putting in and just the teamwork that you've been practicing over and over and over again. So I think like when we played against CLG, we were in the back of our minds, we were like, dang, they're the underdog story, like always. They're always able to like upset or come back in bad situations. But I don't know, like I was a little bit cautious in those games for sure with my shot calling. Like I was like, dude, maybe we shouldn't go for like the crazy dive. We should just take it slow. And I didn't realize until after the game that we were always like 10K gold ahead.
Wow. Yeah, it was definitely a very one-sided series as far as the gold leads are concerned. You talked a little bit earlier about Biofrost and how that roster change was really huge for you. I want you to talk about Biofrost, but then also kind of talk about the supports you played with in the past. Because you've played with Chowster, who at one point was the guy who kind of told you everything to do. You credit him with teaching you to play the game back in the day. Then you've also played with Afromoo and Yellowstar. You know, Yellowstar was a European LCS MVP. How does Biofrost compare to those other guys that you've played with?
Yeah, so when I played with Chowster, this is way back in 2012 for people who like don't know. 2012, maybe a little bit of 2013.
Yeah, you guys even played over in Korea. You were like very respected internationally as a duo lane.
Yeah, we were, in my opinion, Chowster and I were the best bottom lane in terms of pure 2v2 laning and decision making for like a whole year. We were insane, and we never lost lane. So he was definitely the one who's carrying me, and I was just all mechanics, no brain. So he was just telling me, hey, like you can go for this CS. Okay, on this CS we're gonna harass them. He was like really the quintessential like, you do what I tell you to, and we operate as one because I'm the brain. Okay. And so I was like, okay, you're the legend, you're the veteran, like I'm gonna listen to you. Then Afro, I think it was more 50-50. Mm-hmm. He was really smart, but actually people might not know this, but he was an AD carry main when he became my support.
Yep.
So it was like more even grounds, and I think we were learning together a lot. And so we had this kind of like brotherhood or camaraderie. Then I switched to Yellowstar. I think Yellowstar was definitely one of the worst supports I've ever played with. I don't know what happened, but he had really poor mechanics, and I think his decision-making as well was like really off. I'm not gonna like blame it all on him. I definitely didn't like go out of my way to have good synergy with him. But in the end, we just kind of settled on, I'll play Callista, and we'll work by like I shoot you in with my ulti or I pull you out of a bad situation with my ulti. So that's why I was a close to one trick for that whole split.
Okay, and now Biofrost.
And now Biofrost is like the gold mine, dude. I could go on and on about Biofrost forever, but like he's calm in situations where he has no right to be calm. You know, he plays like a veteran, but he's a rookie. And he still has that kind of like rookie hunger where he's in and he's like always listening to every feedback that he gets. I'm like, hey, like, what do you think about this? Like, maybe you should play this differently. He's always like, I'm on it. Like, he always takes on new responsibilities every week. So he's become like fully integrated with the team and it really shows. But at first, you know, he was really just like super green, didn't know what to do, was always like kind of like, maybe he like didn't feel comfortable like having a voice on the team. But man, like his mechanics are sick. We're always like doing really well in lane. And I guess everyone on the team just knows like he's a very clutch player. It seems so weird, but like in close games, he's won the game for us with Bard ultis or Braum ultis that like another player would not have been able to pull out. So I think in terms of an all-package player, my favorite player I've ever played like laned with, it's him. Like he's always just the most consistent player on our team.
Yeah, that's incredibly high praise. And you mentioned when you played with Afro, it was like a 50-50 as far as it. What is the split with you and Biofrost at this point now that you've played with him for a whole split?
I think when I first played with him, it was like a 90-10.
Yeah.
He was very shy. Now maybe like a 60-40 because I'm always calling out for the next objective, the next play. But he was also like definitely pulling his weight or more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you've also had a really long career playing with all these supports, also being a teammate with a lot of different people. There's been some rough times in the past, like COG, there was the Dunzo Manifesto from Link.
Yeah.
Don't want to bring up too many bad memories, but basically, you've been called a bad teammate by people in the past, and the fans have also called you a bad teammate. Do you think any of that was true, and are you a good teammate now? Like, how has that affected you, and how has that changed you as a player?
Yeah, I definitely think I was a bad teammate before, and I still have moments where I'm like, dang, I was such a bad teammate there. Like, I was just tilting in the middle of a scrim or something. This split, like, you know, everyone tilts, but like, when I tilt, I'm just like really down, and I'm just like, man, I'm not communicating very much at all, and it's like really shows like the strain in my voice that I'm just like not having a good day. And like my team is always, they don't like hold it against me or incriminate me anymore. But I mean, like back in the day, I was really, really bad of a teammate. You know, I was tilting like constantly, and I didn't voice my concerns about my teammates' play or like their decisions very well. I was always like, that was really dumb, instead of like, hey, what do you think about this alternative? You know, like back then I wasn't a solution seeker. I was more of like a problem finder. I'm like, dude, you suck at this. But I didn't have anything to offer myself. And I think like you don't really have a right to pick at someone's flaws if you're not there to help them like, you know, fix it or find a solution. So back in the day, I was definitely like just not a good player to play with. And I still have my flaws like now, but I think they're a lot less. And I'm just working at it constantly because part of it is because the community like destroyed me for this. And so I guess like I was taking a lot of self-reflection in the last year.
Okay, and with the self-reflection, like what are the biggest things and the people that have helped you to become a better teammate to kind of find the success you've had with TSM this split?
Bjergsen definitely calls me out when I'm being a little baby, and he's like, dude, that was really passive-aggressive. And I'm like, all right, yeah, you're right, dude, like, my bad. And I think having teammates who are very forward instead of like, they brood or they just kind of like circumvent the issue and they like try to like, they like take it all in. I think teammates who are just like, hey, dude, that's not okay, or like, that was like really rude, and they just kind of like slice the air with that. It really helps me to have like guiding figures, you know, like Weldon, Bjergsen I always look up to, Parth as well. Like everyone on my team usually is just really forthcoming. And on CLG, everyone was like very like snaky. I don't know, like people, teammates that I had been playing with, they didn't really come to me with their like true feelings until it was like way too late and had already built up to a point where it's like beyond repair. So for me, it's just like as long as people are telling me and giving me feedback, I'm not gonna like ignore it.
Awesome. And I also want to ask you about the summer finals and what it could mean to you, because what's actually happening here is you have the opportunity to be the first player to win a split on 2 different teams.
Oh, really?
You've also been in the LCS since the beginning, but like, what would it mean to you to win the split and also be the first player to accomplish that feat?
It's actually pretty cool. I didn't know that. I don't know. Like, I think I've been a player for a really long time, and so there's still a lot of accomplishments that I haven't gotten. You know, like I've only won an LCS one time. I've not even gotten close to winning Worlds. I'm not even remotely close. And yeah, I guess that would just be really nice to know that like I could put in all this time and really dedicate myself to the game for this 5 or 6 year span, and come out with something I can be really proud of. Because I am proud of the team. I'm proud that we're in the finals, and like I'm proud that we were able to make like the 17-1 record happen. But I know there's so much more that we can do. Like winning this split is just the start. I mean, like this whole team is really, really set on winning Worlds. But that's like one good stepping stone.
All right, all business when it goes to the finals. Obviously, it would be cool if you could win it and become the first player to win on 2 different teams. But you're also already qualified for Worlds. Last year, you guys had a great start. 2-1 in the group stage, and it all came crashing down with the 0-3. How are you going to deal with the pressure this year with Worlds to accomplish your goals?
Well, I think NA is definitely a lot better than they were in the previous Worlds. I actually think we have like a legitimate chance of winning, where in other times it was like we could maybe like fluke our way to the finals, but we're not actually going to win the whole thing. So the issues that I experienced last time at Worlds was maybe slight burnout, a lot of like random problems like visa issues, and just the fact that like we were just not nearly as good of a team as the teams we were playing against. But now I look at Korea and China and like all these other regions, and I'm like, there's some aspects of their play that is very respectable and like we can learn from, but NA tends to play really fast-paced games, high like aggressive early game decisions, partly because the Immortals came here and taught us the way. But I don't know, I just don't feel as scared of them. And I know that we can definitely beat them. It's just, I guess it just comes with repetition over and over again and then feeling very competent for the match. You know, like you've seen all these situations, you've watched the Korean teams play, so like now I'm just ready to smash them.
All right, well, thank you very much, Doublelift. Good luck in the finals, also at Worlds, and it was great talking to you.
Thank you.